Hey guys, Infidel1258 here. On my continuing mission to explore amazing opportunities that people are overlooking within Splinterlands and blockchain-based gaming, I'm looking at gold foils in today's video. I'm looking at Riftwatcher gold foils and comparing them to Rebellion gold foils and even some of the other card editions, because I think these might be some particularly great deals in certain contexts, depending on what you're needing and if you have that long-term vision for what Splinterlands might be. So if that conversation sounds interesting, stick around and stay tuned. And I should say this is a clip from a recent live event. If you want to be present at my live members-only events, please consider supporting the channel. Thanks a lot. Have an amazing day. God bless. Dehoda Dwayne. Also look at gold foils prices too. Yeah, I meant to. I actually was on my notes to look at the gold foils because I think gold foils are even more ignored and overlooked. So yeah, let's quickly look at the legendary gold foils. Thank you for the reminder, because I did have that in my notes before I went live here. Look at the regular foils and then look at the gold foils. I was going to look at gold foils, regular foils, and legendaries, all three separate, but that would probably be I might need to do that as a separate video, as like a deep dive into this with maybe some more concise thoughts around this topic. But this is my Rebellion and this is my Riftwatcher. And look at this though, by the way, like $20. The other day I bought, I think a Max Mortius gold foil, and I think I might have paid $20 a unit. I can look at that in a moment maybe. So $24. High bid's 13, by the way. To think you could throw out a bid on some of these cards and maybe get filled. You can tell if it gets filled, by the way. You can look at, if you see the high bid was $10.10, and then you see the low buy is 10.10, or the market value is 10.10, then what that's saying is that, if there's a consistency between the high bid and the market value, that means that somebody recently filled a high bid. So let's see if we see that anywhere. No. So none of these high bids are landing, but still, you never know, because somebody drops, they forget to implement they use the decimal point in the wrong spot, and suddenly you're a proud owner, or somebody's feeling desperate and they want to sell some cards they have extra access to, and then you make that money. So high bids are an interesting, powerful way. But look at this, $24 all the way 50, 40, 33, 35. So in that $40 average range, with like some exceptions, $40 average range is probably accurate. And we come over to Rebellion and we look at the legendaries. And here we're in that $100. Yeah. $125 average with some anomalies that you can't really look to be honest. Venka the Vile, $900 low buy. Yeah, so I mean $125 versus did we say 50? 40, 50? Yeah, I'm going to say 50. And if it's 50, by the way, if it's a $50 average and Mortius is a $24 low buy, I know that Mortius is not as good as, Runemancer Flore or Aggro Longtail or Coral Lurker or, Inevitable. But see, this is what I'm talking about. As you start to see the long-term picture of what the sort of the price points could be as compared to supply, as compared to utility, they're ultimately both going to be in wild. And I think there's an interesting argument to be made on some of these things. And this is just your legendaries. Let's look at epics. Epics from Rift needs to be the summies. Oh yeah, the summoners is a bit of a unusual. It's hard to compare these summoners to the summoners from the Rebellion, so we'll avoid that conversation. The rares, $2, $3. I'm going to say $3.50 average on the Rebellion rares versus probably $1.50, $1.25. So are the Rebellion rare gold foils worth 3x? Are they worth 3x what the Riftwatcher rares gold foils are worth? Or is that marketplace confusion? Is that an opportunity? These are, we each gotta like sort of come to our own conclusions about these sorts of observations, but it helps. There's two things that go on in my mind when I look at this kind of data. what I'm first looking at is objective opportunity. If it's 3 times the price to get a Rebellion gold foil rare as it is to get a Riftwatcher gold foil rare, I immediately think discount. I'm thinking we got a discount on the Riftwatchers. But then you then broaden the conversation with utility. I love some of these cards. And I told you earlier, I think these cards could probably be categorized as epics in any other set. Maybe not all of them, but Queen of Crows is in that conversation. Queen of Crows is $2.25 at per BBCX. And how many can you buy for that price? You can buy a couple. You can buy 4 probably copies for that. And I said that look at this. Again, the best rebellions are in that $8 range. $8 range. Moxie and Rebel is like this unique standalone. So I'm not going to compare it to that, but like $7.50, $6. So Queen of Crows to me is an excellent card. It works in so many scenarios. We know that there's the archery only rule set. This one has close range. It has tank type hit points. Return Fire is an amazing card. This card has a lot of usefulness even when it's not archery only. And so this is an example in my mind of if you needed this card, if you wanted it as a collectible, if you valued gold foils, you start to compare it to some of the alternatives that are out there. And you might also bring into this conversation, you could broaden the conversation further. I'm looking at Rebellion versus Riftwatcher. You might look at Untamed and start to find the spectrum, because maybe Untamed being in Wild right now and not currently in Modern, maybe that has a different price point. Let's pull that up quickly. We'll look at rares. We'll just look at rares on the Untamed. So we go rare, we go gold foil, we go Untamed. And we're $1.50 to $49. Like that, this is comparable. These price points are comparable to what we're seeing with respect to Riftwatchers. Maybe Riftwatchers is a little bit cheaper. So that tells me something about Riftwatcher price points. I think we're seeing from 2 different angles that at least the rare gold foils, and you might not want gold foils and you might not want rares, but I think these rares from Riftwatchers are undervalued. They're exceptional cards. They probably are equivalent to epics in any other pack or any other edition, and they're cheaper. They're significantly cheaper than Rebellion, and they're actually in the same price point to maybe even in some cases cheaper than Untamed, which is currently exclusively in the wild. So if we go, unless we think the Untamed rares are that much better, like double better, like look at the cheapest one is the Goblin Chariot, and I don't like that card, but the Goblin Chariot from the Untamed is the Scavo Technomancer is there's 4,000 Scavo Technomancers gold foiled. There's 2,100 Goblin Chariots, but I think the Goblin Chariot's a bad card, and yet the price point is double. Now, maybe you justify that double price because the supply is double. But functionally speaking, Scavo Technomancer is currently in the Modern. It is a magic card that's more powerful. It has the blast functionality. It has the blind functionality, which I often find is helpful and useful. It's neutral versus Goblin. Is Goblin... Yeah, it's neutral as well. But Chariot is like an archer with few hit, well, it's 7 hit points, not few. But this card's not as good. And so this all helps to build a picture of like where is value. And maybe this doesn't make sense to you individually because you aren't looking to build out a gold foil collection, or you don't have money to speculate on future price appreciation. But I think there's a story here, and those who pay attention can draw observations. Maybe it's in rares, maybe it's in legendaries, maybe it's in regular foils, maybe it's in... But I think something is pointing us to the fact that Riftwatchers is currently way undervalued. And that's where my head has been at for the last 6 months since the conflicts has begun, really.